Good evening, RPG Limit Break. How are we doing tonight? My name is Omar Zubermuller. I am joined in the booth tonight with Chat2980 for another round of our 2021 Winter Dab Tournament Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer. Tonight, we have JShydell going up against Phoenix29. Chat, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. Double anti-bingo is always something that's really interesting to watch as a spectator. There's lots of chaos going on. You know, the runners are trying to kind of go on a mini scavenger hunt, so I'm very interested to see how this race will play out. And we have a little bit of a spicy bingo card here.
Yeah, that's the great thing about bingo is every single time you play this, not only do you have to deal with whatever the heck the randomizer decides to throw at you, but on top of that, this bingo board is generated separately as well. So there's not a lot of synergies that tend to happen between the two, so it really makes for some interesting strategies and interesting plays to figure out how you're able to complete your first line as well as that second additional line. What are our forced lines tonight here, Jazz?
Yeah, so each runner, as we said, kind of double anti-bingo. You have to complete 2 lines, and one is going to be chosen for you by your opponent, and one is going to be selected by you, the runner. So I've typed in chat here, but Phoenix will have to complete row 4, and I think this one's particularly spicy, which we'll get to as the seed rolls on. Meanwhile, JShydell will have to complete column 3. Highlight of both rows, you can see where they intersect that there's usually a nasty square. Defeat Lich with Quake. So Lich with Quake is a particularly nasty square because not only do you have to get the rod, you also have to get the Quake spell, and that can sometimes be located at like level 8, the highest level magic in the game, in like a far off town, and that can be a real pain. So, you know, keep your eyes out whenever they're checking black magic shops to see if Quake is available early.
As well as, particularly with Phoenix, you're having row 4, that tile directly to the left of it, defeat Tiamat with Bane. This one gets an extra layer even on top of that, because now not only do you need 1 key item to get there, you need 2 in both the Chime and the Cube. And again, you're banking on the RNG that Bane's going to roll somewhere good. And if we look at Phoenix's party, you notice there is no Black Mage in this right now either. So if all of a sudden this Bane rolls or Quake rolls to level 7 or 8 or, you know, even 5 at the warp spot potentially in that, we could be looking at some things that are very difficult for him to be getting to, and thankfully pub and tavern mode is on. I think with these flags it has to be, because he could essentially get himself locked out of the potential to even cast that spell without having a dedicated Black Mage.
Yeah, so Pub and Tavern mode allows you to change your party in the middle of the seed. So where you would normally revive your characters, instead it says, would you like to hire a X class? So you can hire a Black Mage, go Bane Tiamat, and then change it back to a different class, like, for example, in order to meet the requirements of, you know, take 0 or 4 red mages, for example. This just means when it's like take 0 or 4, you need to start the seed with 0 or 4, and you need to end the seed. You need to kill Chaos with 0 or 4. So in the middle, you can switch up your classes using the Pub Tavern mode, and that's definitely part of the strategy of double anti-bingo.
Yeah, and especially if they're looking over this, you don't have them in this one, but a one that is very common is when you get to get a certain character to level 40, you have to get somebody to level 40, and everyone knows you want a black belt to be the person who is level 40. Because once you have a 42 black belt in particular, the game becomes a heck of a lot easier. But black belts tend to not be the best until they hit 21. 21 is when they get their 6 hits. That's when they can really start holding their own. So you'll see a lot of times people will throw a fighter, which is a little bit better in that early game, get them up to 21, switch it out to that black belt. So it really adds another interesting dynamic about, you know, changing party comps on the fly to sort of suit the best situation that you're in right here.
Now, I did want to just apologize quickly. This race was scheduled to start at 8, but we're just having some quick technical difficulties with one of our runners. Our website updated recently, so we've just been having a little bit of trouble getting the hashes to match up, but thank goodness for our great devs who have, you know, these hashes in place to make sure that both of our runners are going to be on the same seed. A couple more notes about the flags. So The bosses are at 100% to 200% scaling, which is definitely a little bit scary, but nothing too terrifying. We have our incentive locations, the Ice Cave, the Castle Ordeals, Titan's Trove, which is behind the Titan, Earth, Volcano, Sky, so 3 of the Fiend dungeons have incentive items, and then Canary Locked, which of course we're going to need the key in order to get. So, keep an eye out. These runners, in order to win, do not need to kill 4 Fiends, because they're going to start with free orbs. However, they will still need to find the key in the loot, and it could be located at one of those incentive locations. So they might need to dive Sky anyways, just to get the loot. And yeah, Ilmars is just trying to fix out his mic issues as well. So, please stay with us as we deal with a few technical problems. If you have any questions in the chat, please feel free to let us know. We are more than happy to answer any questions, especially as we get up and running. But also, as the race is going on, we'd love to talk about Final Fantasy Randomizer, all the various strategies, things that are going on, and if you have any questions, let us know.
Seems every time I did the race last night, we had technical difficulties tonight. I'm just starting to believe it's me at this point.
Yeah, so Buckeye saying, row 3 with column 3 already can't use swords. I mean, row 3 definitely something that is not too bad at all, but not only that, column 5, you basically can start with all of column 5 checked off, except for visit every room on the carry 1 floor. So for example, for our runner who has row 4, which is Phoenix29, he can literally just light up column 5 from the beginning of the seed, assuming that he finishes, basically column 5's complete once he finishes his guaranteed roll, assuming he doesn't change any of his party.
To use blessed equipment, though, can become a little bit annoying, because you're again relying on Blursing to come out really well, and neutral doesn't count as well.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that can be one that's really easy, if everything comes up plus that you care about. But sometimes it really feels annoying when you see a really good weapon or really good armor, like ribbons and that are minus, and you're just sitting looking at them going, can't touch those.
Yeah. The one in particular is exactly what you pointed out, which is ribbons. Ribbons are basically not replaceable. So if the ribbon rolls minus, there's not really any getting around it. And it looks like our runners are ready, so we are going to be dropping the gate here, and they should be starting in 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds to 20 or 30 seconds to the broadcast. Yeah, column 5 works for either of them, I definitely agree. Hello, Mage Man, how's it going? So we are excited, the race has begun in racetime.gg, and we will be getting started momentarily. So first thing first, let's see what this black magic is, because these parties are identical. Ooh, interesting divergence of strategy. Phoenix29 immediately going to go talk to the king and get the chime. Meanwhile, level 1 magic, definitely rough. Fire as your only spell is not exactly what you're looking for, but luckily we do have early access to Provoca, the second town in the game, so they will be able to check at least 4 more levels, or 4 more black magic spells, to hopefully find something, or white magic may have fade. Quickly checking the item shop here on the top left, and that's because there could be a shop item available here. They also want to know if there's heal pots and save items. Pures and softs are both guaranteed to be in Canaria, so. Ooh, immediate route divergence. JShydell going to go try and kill Garland right off the bat. Meanwhile, Phoenix29 wanting to make a trip over to Provoca. JShydell going to try and get through Garland with just Fire 1. Now this is definitely doable, but it may take a little bit of time. Remember, bosses have 100 to 200% damage, or HP, which means that Garland's going to have least 100 health and could have up to 200 health. Yeah, this is close. He really has to hope that Garland has rolled closer to the minimum HP. Nice fire roll there, 40. Hilmars, how's it going?
I don't know. Hopefully things are better now.
Yes, much, much better. Welcome back.
Good. Excellent. Apparently sometimes it's like everything with electronics. Just disconnect it and plug it back in and restart things and everything works fine.
Yeah, so not too much has been missed so far, but JShydell taking the slightly riskier approach, trying to just fire down Garland without getting any levels. Meanwhile, Phoenix doing a little bit of... He did actually a party reroll, but it looks like he came out with the same thing, so not quite sure what's going on here. JShydell deciding that he needs to go get some levels first, and I will pass it over to you.
Oh, perfect. So at this point, since we didn't see anything that's really, really good, I'm thinking that maybe the walk over to Provoca here, get a level 2 magic check, see if we can get a sweeper or something that's a little more usable, that's going to take care of some things for us. And it looks like that's what JShydell is going to do. He's making the walk across the bridge, going to probably start making his way. Phoenix right behind him as well. So it seems like both of them are looking at that going, you know what, my magic's not very good. I'm going to need something to help out with this. Let's go try them. Let's go try level 2 and see if that helps.
Yeah, a common strategy is going to be to like go kill some imps, get your level 2 off the first fight, and then you can cast anything that's available here.
Yeah, even if you have to take the pirates using, and we do here see lightning 2 and ice 2. I think if you have to take the pirates doing something with punches and fires, I mean, 9 times out of 10 it shouldn't be an issue anyway. So you should be all right, and that'll get you levels. But JShydell walking outside, he's gonna try and get a fight here, see what's up. And it looks like Phoenix doing the same strategy. Neither of them wanting to test their mettle against the pirates right off the hop, I guess.
Yeah. Most runners will normally do this outside of outside of Canary instead of outside Provoca, because you get guaranteed imps, and even mages can punch down imps eventually. But this first encounter off the power cycle, not too bad.
No. I'm noting here right off the hop that I'm looking at the malice particularly towards black mages who are already a very, very squishy character. They have horrible vitality. Unfortunate here, Phoenix takes a wipe. He has to go all the way back to Corneria here. Meanwhile, we've got JShydell. He's trying to get down this final Gerwolf, punching as best he can, hoping that eventually somebody gets the punch through, or something through to take down this nasty Gerwolf, which apparently doesn't care about being punched.
Yeah, and this is where taking that fight outside of... See, you can see that Phoenix has already gotten through the imps. Like, that's where taking it outside of Canaria before you leave is just a slightly safer play.
And unfortunately for JShydell,
I do apologize to everyone. We are working on a issue with the commentator audio. We will be back with the commentators just as soon as we can work out that problem. In the meantime, enjoy Phoenix fighting Garland and JShydell taking on some trolls. So we had some comments in chat about some of the tiles that we have going on right now, such as the don't use fast and never promote, or never promote and defeat Tiamat with Bane. The previous one, the don't use fast along with never promote, not a big deal, that's fairly free. However, never promote along with defeat Tiamat with Bane, that would be a problem if Bane is post-promotion. That would be an incompletable column. Thankfully, neither of our players did choose that one for the other player, so that might be a column they can't do if Bane ends up showing up early. Or, I mean, if Bane ends up showing up late. But with the two free columns and rows that we have going on right now, that's probably less of an issue than it could be otherwise. So with JShydell making his way into Volcano, we have Phoenix doing the Crescent Lake area play. I think he's just a few steps behind JShydell right now. Checking out the armory. Bunch of gold, bunch of honestly trash right now. You know it's not the best armory when the best item you find is gloves +4 right now. I am Darkmoon EX, filling in right now for Jat and Ilmar's Ubermueller while we have some Discord issues. Apparently Discord has just started crashing for people across the board, so I will be with you up until the point that we actually manage to get our proper commentators back, and you don't have to listen to my dulcet tones anymore. JShydell getting a nice pack of EXPs, running away from them. Gonna go check some other areas, or going back in, maybe to do the tiles itself? Did he die leaving here? I thought he was just here. Confused what happened, but okay. Maybe he took a reset that I missed while trying to check notes. In the meantime, we have Phoenix going off and doing the Sages. We'll see where they go from here. But JShydell trying to walk out this treasure trove of, I would say, middling stuff. Gets the save this time. Yeah, we're good. Oh, apparently he died to Argoyles and I completely missed it. Did not mean to rub it in there. My bad. JShydell sailing back via canoe. It's canoeing back? Yeah, I guess that's the verb. Back over to Crescent Lake. Gonna see where he goes from there. And he's going off to Elfland. Wow, I was not prepared for comms tonight. Apparently we have Kareeves with Lightning 2, which is a joy in and of itself. And now, flush with cash, JShydell's going to go do the rest of his spell buying. And thankfully, Bane is available. So if you want to try for the defeat Tiamat with Bane, which is not required, that's there for him. Better still is Phoenix also being able to get Bane pre-promotion. So that will make sure that we don't have to worry about that tile at all. I don't know if we've seen Quake yet. That will be our next concern. Fortunately, can't check notes right now, as Discord is not working. Thank you, Discord. Okay, Chanigan, our tracker, letting me know we have not seen Quake yet. So that means that we are still worried about whether or not that is going to be a pre or post promotion. Thankfully, that's not a huge deal for Phoenix if he has to promote. The bigger issue there is, of course, the tail, which we have not seen yet. Phoenix making their way into Ice Cave. JShydell continuing to do their shopping trip. And we are going to see where this goes from here. JShydell canoeing his way back out. If he decides to canoe over to Ice Cave from Elfland, that is a tile on some of these boards. Not the one that I'm seeing here today, but that's something to keep an eye on. There is also, I see, defeat every trap tile in Ice Cave, which is a tile that JShydell actually needs to do. This ice play, if he goes there, is a likely move for him to finish that out quickly. Quake being a tile that they're both going to need to worry about, since it looks like they both have to defeat Lich with Quake. Actually, the fact that Bane, Tiamat, and Quake Lich showed up on the same row is a bit unlucky for this board. They're supposed to weed that out, make sure we don't have two of the same on a row, but yeah, the gamble happened, and they were both okay with that, so we rolled with this board. JShydell, defying what I was expecting him to do, goes back to Volcano. Maybe he's worried about getting that visit every room and carry, or wants to see what the spike tiles may have. And that Opal +4 is lovely. Plus, you know, that gold gloves +4, big find there in the armory. Gonna kill these Geists with... Well, they have Sleep Touch. Well, that's gross. And, oh! Okay, not going to kill the ghouls. Ghouls have Nuke. Irradiated corpses wandering around in Volcano. That's going to make Ice Cave... Wow, hideous, actually. Really, really gross. Woo! Not fun at all. Hey, I guess the one nice thing to be said is we got Nuke off the table. We won't be seeing that from any other regular enemy at this point, unless it's on the Medusa script. God, I hope I didn't just curse them and put on the Medusa script. I'm sorry, JShydell. In case you see it there. Phoenix doing some more shopping over here at Crescent Lake, picking up Nuke. Also saw Warp there. Not sure if that was at a slot that they can learn just yet. No, it looks like it was. Excellent. I love the little animations where they do victory poses to let you know if they can learn a spell or not. So handy. We are just shy of 20 minutes in, and you are not seeing the board incorrectly. We do have almost a row and a column already lit because this is a very, very free bingo board. Phoenix needs to take care of row 4. JShydell needs to take care of column 3. Both of those might be a little iffy depending upon what they have to do. I mean, JShydell has to find the slab. Phoenix has to kill both Tiamat and Lich with special conditions. They're not the easiest tiles there, but they basically only have to finish out one row or column each because they already have the rest of what they need for double anti-bingo taken care of. And this could be, in theory, very quick for one or both of them. freed of the tyranny of that Crescent Lake area, JShydell has decided to move on. He is now sailing his health over to Melmond area. Doing a little bit of walk on the desert tiles there before going to save, and we are going to go move on over to Earth Cave. Well, they don't have the ruby, that makes sense. Going around checking some of these tiles here, gonna see what's at the treasure chest and the tile, I'm sure. We are looking for a grind right now. That is our primary concern. Sea Troll not going to cut it, in my opinion. When you have a black belt, you want to know where you can get your levels early, and they already have enough key items to make any grind they take right now decent enough. Between the bridge, canal, ship, canoe, and in the case of both of them, slab and chime, that's enough of an XP bonus to make, doing a grind not too terrible. Did kill a sea troll, got a couple levels off of it. Yeah. Still, not really worth it. That's not the kind of experience you're looking for. Going over now to the Hall of Giants, we're going to see what might be lurking here. Wyverns, if they can die quick, could be nice. Meanwhile, Phoenix still feels like they're just a couple steps behind JShydell, following similar patterns, going to similar areas. Poison Touch, that's a little rude, but not too terrible. Unfortunately, doesn't look like these Wyverns can be killed first round off. Gonna have to see if they can get taken care of a second time. Almost. We're almost there. Working their way through. Round 3. Oof. Yeah, I don't think these Wyverns are worth it, guys. We're gonna find from the experience, though. I mean, level 8 across the board. Still, I think I'd move on from that tile and go do something else. Arsenics. I think that'd be Cobras, but we're gonna have the fun percent naming here for JShydell. Yeah, as Ilmar's Ubermuller, one of our 2 commentators who's supposed to be chatting in here, but you're currently stuck with me due to Discord issues, notes in chat. That is a long grind on those Wyverns for basically 2 levels, while Phoenix is already at level 12. I'm liking what Phoenix is doing a lot more, and with the nuke sitting in his pocket, hopefully he's going to be able to get an even faster grind going, Phoenix will. Once we're a little further along. Are you going to check? Nope, not checking the other tile. We're moving on. EXPs, as Ilmar Zubermuller points out, giving a lot, and that is exactly why we call them the EXPs. Peds are a great early to mid-game enemy. They're worth a lot of experience points, generally speaking, for where you're at in the game. They tend to not be too difficult to kill. The big issue with them is that they generally have low morale. So once you start getting some levels under your belt, they start hightailing it. So you can't grind on them for too long like you'd really like. Plus, at a certain point, you're better off going and finding something a little better. And I'm pretty sure we must have a bat tile in the works. Talk to 10 bats in Earth Cave. That is why JShydell was slaughtering bats, and as you can see, that lights up. And we are moving on. It wasn't just that he wanted to kill bats. He actually had to do that for a reason. But I won't deny it is also satisfying killing bats. And you might be wondering, why did he light that when that's not a column he needs? He can easily have, like, row 2 or something else. He may be holding out, worrying about that quake, not wanting to bother with the never promote. There could be other stuff going on that he's stressed about, so I can see what he's going for there and why he just wants to cover some extra bases, just in case. That's smart with being go cover as many tiles as you can, and once you have the column you need to have lit done, you can look at what you have left and appraise what it is you're actually going to go for. That party room, for those that are wondering, is the room up in the upper corner of that earth floor, where it's that one that JShydell's walking past that did not go in. We put a bunch, the devs, put a bunch of the bats that you would see on this floor in there so they'd stop causing trouble to our players. We call it the bat party room, and that's a good spot to go get some bats if you want, if you don't mind the spike tiles that are underneath there. There are four spike tiles in a square in there, and if it's a bad tile, you could end up having a very bad day. Oh god. I can't remember if one of these two had nuke. He gets away! That's what matters! Safety in running. Hi, Vampire. Bye, Vampire. Wow, that was a really weak Vampire. And there is the tail. Promotion is available if you want it. Now you just need the way to get up in the air so you can go talk to Bahamut. I'm sure that is a bit of a relief at this point to JShydell, since he has to deal with that Quaking Lich. Yeah, it was one of the zombies that had nuke. I can't remember which one. I think it might have been the white ones, the Geists you were saying in chat, everyone. So that's a possibility. And Discord is still being stupid. I am DarkMoonEX. I am neither Jat nor Elmar's Ubermuller, the two commentators you were expecting. Unfortunately, Discord is having issues, and you are stuck with me for the next foreseeable however long it takes. So with the slab in hand, we can eventually do the finish quest that JShydell is going to have to do in Square 1, Column 3, up at the very tippy top. However, still need the airship for that, and we have not found that as of yet. More wyverns and worms. Apparently we're still continuing to do this. I feel like I would have... I'm going to double check and make sure. I think this encounter was runnable, and if so, I would not be taking it. If it wasn't unrunnable, I would just go somewhere else, honestly. There are plenty of tiles in Ice Cave, other ones deeper in Volcano. It feels like there's got to be something better. Yeah, it's runnable. I question, far be it from me. They're the ones playing. I don't think I would take this encounter, but maybe he likes a bit of experience, or maybe he just wants to fight it on his way past to the next one. Who knows? Ooh, Catman with Quad X. That's gross. Yeah, as Ilmar Zubermuller in chat is pointing out, JShydell does need to go and do all the tiles in Ice Cave. So, why he's spending time here is a question. Not quite sure about that, but hey. So JShydell's going back to Melman, gonna buy some more spells. And I do believe we may, in fact, be back with our commentators. Commentators, are you there with us?
Hey, Darkmoon.
Hey,
can you hear us okay?
I can hear you. Excelente. I am so sorry you guys had to, deal with me for a few minutes there.
Not a problem at all.
Excellent.
We are glad to be back. I mean, we're not any more glad to be back than I'm sure Phoenix and JShydell are so done with Ice Cave. But other than that, great seats so far.
So, I'm going to kick it back over to you, gentlemen, since it looks like we are back up and running, and you take it on away.
Thank you so much, Darkmoon. Everybody, really, round of applause to Darkmoon for having to deal with all of this stuff in the background while simultaneously dealing with comms and that. Not an easy job, so Thank you very much for everything you've done. I'm Elmar Zubermuller, joined by Jad. We're going to try this again. In case you missed it, Ice Cave bad.
Yep. Now, there is only a single nuke in the entire regular enemy spell list, and it just so happens that it's on Geist this time. Man, those are some rude ghosts.
Yeah, and on top of that, we see, it's lucky JShydell did get got bats in Earth Cave, because that's going to be annoying. Phoenix is going to have to go, both of them have to go and defeat Lich with Cake. That could be annoying to get down there to all of a sudden think you're in a good position and everything's ready to go, and then all of a sudden you hit a patch of them, and your run can be in real jeopardy real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a pop play coming from JShydell. He's looking to grind up, as we were saying. The wyverns that he was grinding on just way too much HP, and these giants are going down at about 110 to 120 HP. That is a much better grind. That is going to pay off for him a heck of a lot quicker than dealing with those really high HP wyverns.
Yeah, it's not often that runners have to resort to a pop grind with the amount of trap tiles that are available to them at this stage, but the dungeons are just dangerous right now, so and these giants do have exceptionally low HP, as you mentioned.
Yeah, sometimes it's not the trap tiles in and of themselves that are the problem, it's those on certain trap tiles having to take that off step where it starts incrementing your step counter that can be the problem, or conversely just getting to or from said trap tile. It's one thing to spend a lot of time and get a big grind and get a whole bunch of levels, but you still need to walk out. While we see our vendor item is the ruby at the caravan for $10,000. That's great. That's going to open up 2 incentives for us at Sarga and at Titan's Trove, as Titans is incentivized. So Phoenix is going to make the play into Waterfall, get some money, and I guarantee we'll be going to get that, because we're still looking for that floater to get us up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these seeds tend not to always require the canoe so early in this, overworld navigation. Sometimes you're in the air right away with that early Ryukan Desert Dock and the free canal, but this seed definitely not the case. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see the waterfall item or the ruby turn into the floater.
Yeah, at this point you're pretty much limited to there, diving all the way down to Volcano, checking that out, and then also ordeals. If you're already in this area, you can dock at the little river right above ordeals. It's only 10 steps to get there. That's another incentivized location. Might be a good play just to make sure that you're collecting everything in this area as fast as possible to not have to come back and worry about doing it again.
Yeah, once again, reminder for the victory condition here. They don't need all the traditional items, but they do still need the loot and the key. So those are things that, clearing incentive locations, definitely not a bad idea. Ooh, that is, okay.
This is all about HP values on these guys. If they are even remotely low, this is something I don't think you want to take at this point in time. Put this in the back of your mind, though. It could be really big later.
This is almost impossible, to get through. Dragons have exceptionally high magic defense, or MDef, which leads to Bane having a very low % chance of hitting them. So Bane's not going to really work there. You really are going to need some type of non-elemental AoE sweeper, like Nuke or Fade.
Yeah, and as soon as that black belt went down and those Bane charges missed, Phoenix is out. He wants nothing to do. He knows he's not going to be able... he knows he's not going to be able to take them down at the level he's got. We've got a level 7 magic check still. No Quake. That's really not good, which means promotion is 100% required. Because on-rack is the one, if I'm not mistaken, it's on-rack. First slot is available to black mages.
Is that the question? Yes, second slot is available to red mage or to black mages, and slot 1 in Gaia is still available at level 7. So, one shot left.
Yeah, it's not looking good to be able to get what you need without getting promotion, and it looks like it's getting even closer and closer to likely being at level 8, which adds another level of you need to get some levels to be able to even cast that, and you're going to want more than 1 or 2 casts of it, because while it is like a 25% chance to hit Cape on Lich, we've all seen it where, sometimes you go in, first one hits, and then other times you go in and you can drop 7-8 charges before it decides to hit. Meanwhile, JShydell running through Volcano. He's going to be going all the way down to the incentive item here. A good play, as we said, this is one of the few checks that are left. Obviously, he hasn't gone over to the Northern Continent and seen that ruby, which would open up more for him, but he's going to be able to get through this given the magic he has, I think, at the very least, to be able to see that item and know if it's something that he really, really wants to run out, or if it's something that they're just going to keep in their mind or just completely nope out of, that they're not worried about. So coming up to it now, we just have to get through a couple of trap tiles, see what's going to be given to us here. I mean, obviously, at this point, you're hoping for floater, right? It's got to be in your mind. You're thinking, please give me the floater. That just opens so many things up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much that it opens so many things up, it also just makes things so much faster. So yeah, the floater is definitely a top priority, but Phoenix with 2 shots to get the floater behind this ruby, not in a terrible spot.
Makes a very wise decision that finding out that grinding in Waterfall just isn't worth it and decides to take some fights. I mean, there's some pretty decent level enemies here. You're going to get that $10,000. It's not all that much. You can farm that up quickly, as he did in a couple of fights, no problem. Got it. Still, on JShydell's side, dealing with this very annoying group that doesn't seem to want to go down of Mudghouls and Sorcerers. This is the one, this is that final fight before we're going to get to see what the heck is in that incentivized chest, but the Sorcerers doing everything they can to stop us from seeing it. And that's like 3 sweepers that they've taken. These are beefy Sorcerers.
Yeah, I mean, magic's not especially effective against sorcerers, but it's also just nasty. Level 1 through 4 has Lit 2, Fire 2, and Ice 2. No level 3 elemental sweepers, and no nuke or fade. So it's a particularly bad spot to be in if you are a fan of, magic to kill enemies with.
At least he got something that he can use out of it. He pulls out the herb. We can trade that in at Elflin Castle, see what that will give us. And also, speaking of level 3 sweepers, there when we did check the shop, when Phoenix checked the shop in Onrak, Ice 3 and Fire 3 were both level 7 black. So again, you're not going to get a lot of charges for those. While JShydell is going to be able, with this play here, to close out column 5. He is doing the final tile that he needs, which is visit every floor or every room on the carry 1 floor. So he's making the long roundabout and pop his head into every single door, and he's gonna have his non-required line done. So that's really good that he can now just focus specifically on what he needs to do for that, for his required line, and he's in go mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then on his required line, it's definitely not the worst. Now, he is going to require the floater in order to talk to the Lefanish without translating the slab, but at his point, the one that's looming large is definitely Lich and Quake.
Yeah. And here we see from Phoenix's side pulling out of Titans, we got the Crown, so still no definitive progression. More fetch quests, have to go to Northwest Castle, see what that's going to be, before we're able to know if that's going to give us what we're looking for to move things around. And on Phoenix's side, though, he needs the rod, he needs the chime, he needs the cube. We got the chime, but he's still looking for those 2 other items to be able to clear his required line as well. So he needs to do a little more digging just because of that, whereas JShydell, we get the loot, one of the 2 absolutely required items, as you need the loot and the key to be able to get through Topher, the final the final dungeon of the game. So it's imperative for Phoenix to be doing a lot more diving because he just requires more items to be able to finish out his line.
Yeah, Phoenix essentially requiring all the normal required items with the exception of the Oxyale. So, as you said, he's going to be diving quite a few incentive dungeons.
And JShydell makes it all the way to carry, checks every single floor in there, looks at the orb of carry and goes, nah, I don't want to lose this, and exits out.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes killing carry is the fastest way, but with exit, nope, goodbye.
And it's also one of those things where you would hate to lose any progression you had up to that point. You know, he's only level 13, 14. He doesn't have great magic to deal with it. It's just such a safer bet to just cast exit, get out, save what you got out of it, and move on. And he's moving right on to ice.
We're about to see a fairly important turn in here. Let's see what this crown turns into. Now, if I'm the runners, the cube could be particularly nasty here, as that could mean the floater is just waiting for us in sky. So if you're, a fan of either of these runners, maybe cross your fingers for no cube.
Yeah, getting the cube here makes things work even. Yeah, especially the cube. Having to go through and go through all of Sky to get to that incentive can be annoying. We've got the key out of it though, so that at least gives us the option to getting to Cornerio locked, so hopefully it's sitting behind that.
Mm-hmm. Also really good for JShydell. That could allow him to skip a large number of incentive locations. The key and the loot can be hiding from you, but when you find it early, that's always nice.
Yeah, absolutely. But then it being down in Volcano, I don't know how... Did Jay get it? Yeah, Jay got the loot out of it. Wasn't that in Volcano, or am I going crazy?
Loot was in... I'm just checking our Tracker Tonight shenanigans notes. The loot was from Sarda.
Yeah,
the crown... I believe the crown was one of the Ruby turn-ins. The crown was Titan's Trove. So
Crown
really
Titans, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, you just need to go buy the Ruby from the caravan, and then you basically get the 2 Go mode required items, which is pretty nice.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that makes sense. Yeah. We've got a Tyro tile. Oh boy, talk about your grind tile of a lifetime. Here it is. This is what everybody wants to see when you're going for a grind. The 3-eye grind. Here it is.
Yeah, so the 3-eye grind, especially Notorious, is an excellent grind tile for a number of reasons, but the main one is the golden rule of Final Fantasy Randomizer, which is that if the enemy is scary in the vanilla game because of touch attack or because of their spell or skill list, they're a punching bag in this game, because generally speaking they have a low amount of HP and absorb, and they also, of course, don't have those skills or spells anymore. So the Eye's a fairly scary spellcasting enemy in the vanilla game, just completely free in the randomizer most of the time.
Caveat, most of the time. Well, we did see 3 or 4 attacks come out of them. We didn't see anything scary from them. While Phoenix isn't doing the grind now, I can guarantee you, once he's ready, he's gonna focus on clearing out his lines, especially for him, since he needs to find those key items to be able to deal with it. Once he's ready to go, that will be the very first place he runs back to grind up that black belt.
Yeah, we have 10% EXP per key item on tonight, or in this tournament. So getting a few more key items first is definitely a solid improvement in terms of, how much time it takes to grind a black belt.
And especially for him, more than likely having to dig out the vast majority of the items to be able to get his rod, his cube. He's probably going to check quite a few incentive locations, as we've been saying along the way, and that experience bonus is going to mean a very short grind. But we see Lightning 3, our best sweeper, at level 5 at this point in time, which means, because we saw Nuke at 6, I think?
Nuke 6, yes, that's correct.
Yes, that's right, at Crescent. So, like having to wait for those upper levels, but I think when it comes time for those grind, you're gonna see a black belt, black mage, black belt grind online to get those charges, both for what's probably level 8 Quake, unless it happens to roll in the other level 7s, but it's 7 or 8 Quake at the very least. So you're gonna need levels.
Yeah, higher odds of it. Well, actually, no, there's 4 slots. Yeah, no, slightly higher odds that it's level 8 at this point, but unfortunate either way. JShydell taking on these Iron Gulls, also extremely high EXP enemies, but very difficult to take down as they resist all the elemental spells here. Really needs like a non-elemental AoE spell here, but you know, with enough cast, gets through it and gets a decent chunk of EXP there.
While that was going on, we just got some absolutely critical information on Phoenix's side. Phoenix talked to one of the hint givers, and it told him that Corneria is holding on to the floater, and as you see, he is beelining it to Corneria, locked to pull out that floater. So that ruby, all the way on that other side of the world, is absolutely required to get that key to be able to open this up and get your floater. So JShydell is going to have to figure out at what point he wants to make his way over there to be able to pick up that ruby. So let's pick up that floater. He's going to save. Meanwhile, JShydell taking care of a few things, taking out the last trap tiles here. I believe all he's got left at this point is to take care of what would normally be the eye tile, and he'll be able to say that he's defeated every trap tile here in ice, while it is almost a guarantee that Phoenix will be making a one-way trip directly to the Rubicon Desert to pick up his airship with that newly acquired floater. Checking chests along the way, getting a good chunk of cash, so it won't be an issue for him to be able to buy that ruby, as it was only $10,000. It's just a matter of eventually making your way over there, but he's going to be running out of places that he can be going to get incentive items. I know he's got the herb that he'll be turning in on his way back, but then you gotta think he's making his way over to the northern continent, particularly to that on-rack dock, to be able to check both. Be able to check both Waterfall and the Caravan and the on-rack shop. And here are those Quad X eyes again. Oh, or Quad X Catman. Oh boy, oh boy. Will we be able to get through this? This is... Oh, and they've got Rub as well, so even if you have high enough HP to ignore that Quad X, Rub can come through and do everything as well. Oh, this is tense. He's now below the 300 HP threshold. Quad X goes off and hits. Oh, that's heartbreaking for JShydell.
Yeah, really unfortunate there. Diving Earth, like, you know, when you have to fill out your bingo rows, it doesn't say when you have to fill out the bingo rows. So, I mean, he's checking here hoping to get both find a grind tile and also, you know, fill one of those roles. But this is just a very dangerous place to be. But he's going back.
Yeah, at this point, I believe that was, I'm not 100%, but was that on the actual eye tile that they showed up on? Was that where they were?
It must, because Mad Cats aren't in Ice Cave.
Yeah, that's right. So that is going to be a very annoying. That's going to be a very, very annoying tile to take out, and he needs to do it. And as we said, it's not something that he necessarily needs to do at this point in time. You can, as long as you get everything done, you get everything done. But you know, he's here, and it's one of those things. I think I could see if he bounces one more time, he just goes, "That's enough. I'm done with this, and I'll come back and do it later." Meanwhile, he still has to take on the Tyro as well. He's trying to make his way through this fight as well, and the Tyro seems to have some pretty decent HP as Tyros do. Also, simultaneously, Phoenix is now making the long walk after translating his slab down to Lefane. Tyro down, so that's big. I think then that means all that's left for JShydell in terms of encounters is that I-Tile, then if he hadn't taken that Tyro already. Going through having to redo fights, so as I said, Phoenix right outside of Lefane. He's got that translated slab. I think at this point he's obviously really hoping for either his rod or his cube. I'd also be making a run over to that level 8 magic shop just in case it's here, and it's the cube. So he's got full access to be able to Bane Tia. Oh, he does think about it. I was just about to say he's leaving without checking it, but I think you have to. And it is not the spell here, so alright, so possibly level 7 or 8, but we definitely know at this point in time it's in Gaia. So Quake is somewhere in Gaia. At what level, we'll find out when we get there. JShydell still dealing with all of the golems, mud golems, and rock golems here, trying to get through this fight, trying to deal with it, make his way back to that I-Tile to be able to take care of those horrible catmen that are there. And God, it must be so frustrating. I know it is for everybody when you do something like this, where you have to do the same thing over and over, and it becomes even more frustrating when it's one thing if getting to where you need to go is really easy, you get there, you take care of it, no problem. It's another thing when it's tedious to be able to have to go through it multiple times, and there's so many things in the way that you have to deal with as well.
Well, to be honest, I'm shocked that he decided to come back in here. These Iron Gulls are an incredibly sketchy fight, and his party's not really any better equipped to deal with the Catmen than it was before. If he gets ambushed, or, he just gets bad turn order, his whole party could just die again. And then what, right? So this is a very difficult play that JShydell's doing. It might end up working out for him, but I would not be feeling comfortable. And Phoenix steps on a trap tile with those guys. Luckily, they're going with their skills instead of their spells, but whew, scary. Oh, never mind.
I wonder if it was for... Oh, there's that nuke, yep. I wonder if it was for because behind those Iron Gulls was also a Power Bonk +4, which is really useful. If you don't want to go all the way to 42 with your black belt, 32 becomes a lot more feasible with a Power Bonk. I wonder if that was part of it, but I was, and Rojo was pointing this out as well, as I was just about to say this, is it not that once you've completed the trap tile, as long as you get the victory fanfare, you get it? Because I see him going back to all of the other tiles at this point. All he needs to do, he doesn't need to redo them all and save. Doesn't he only just have to do that one Catman fight? So it's weird that he's taking all the other trap tiles along the way.
I'm no double anti-bingo expert, so I'm not going to comment on that. But I do know for sure, he at the very least does need to come back here and kill those Catmen.
Yeah, that I know. I feel pretty sure about saying that it is as long as you get the victory fanfare, you've completed that. I believe, but he's gonna try it again. I guess we're getting close. He's coming into him right now, so let's see what happens this time around.
He gets ambushed. I jinxed this horribly, but this ambush is just death.
The Quadex is rolling like crazy. Everybody's under 300 HP. What do you do? What do you do? Hold A and pray. You need the RNG of the... Never mind. Oh, that's unfortunate.
You just don't go back. You have to leave and come back. Because if you're going to spend, minutes in Ice Cave, and then have it all go away when you wipe, this... If you get ambushed, you're just dead.
Yeah, that would have been... I would have been tempted on that last one to be my last attempt at it. At this point, you need to come back either with ribbons or pro rings or more than 300 HP, because there is no way that when they're ambushing, it seems they've ambushed a couple of times as well, so they might just be on that super ambushy. They may have a very high ambush rate. You need to be able to withstand that first, at the very least, that first volley of quad axes coming out.
A pretty important thing happening on Phoenix's screen, actually. He did find that red giant, like right off the bat, on that volcano floor. So that's really, really good for Phoenix. Giants can be tricky to find sometimes, so really good for him to find that so quickly in the encounter table.
Yeah, so he's taken care of now both regular giants and red giants. So once he's able to find those ice giants, he'll be able to put a check mark on that square as well. And again, JShydell going through all of the trap tiles again to attempt what will end up being the final boss of this run, the Catman sitting on the eye tile. While Phoenix is finishing out one of their squares, which is to visit every floor on carry 1, so he's going to make the long roundabout plays and checks to see, pop his head into every single room, say hi to everybody, look at the chests that no one cares about because they're linked to other chests, which I always found funny that you would think that if you're going to put chests in these rooms, you'd at least make it worth it and not have them linked to other chests that are already there.
Well, in many ways, these rooms are all fake, and then the one with the fire armor in the vanilla game is kind of like the true prize, so it's kind of like searching for the one really good piece of gear in here.
Yeah. Still, it's an incredibly trolly thing to do, which, sometimes you gotta troll in games. And taking care of this fire encounter while JShydell again on these iron goals. This is a fight, like I said before. I understand this one, it gets you big experience, and there's that power bonk sitting right behind it, so I get trying to do this one. Did he not pick it up? Or did he take that fight for both chests? I didn't see.
I think he's taking this as a little mini grind to try and get some HP on his party before he takes on the Catman. But this is just incredibly slow and is using all of his resources.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you have very limited resources, because you need to get Turn Order, and you need to get Lightning 3 or Ice 2 in some combination off, because also, I don't know if we've seen Catmen die yet, so I'm not 100% of what their HP is, and these Iron Galls have damage poison. That would instantly end any thought I have of trying to do this as a mini grind.
Yeah, this is not ideal. Now, the Black Belt crit is unnerfed, so, there's a chance that he crits here and kills that Iron Gall, but what do you do at this point? Are you gonna go get, potentially rubbed, 4 or 5 times by the Catman with your solo Black Belt? It's incredibly sketchy. And even if you do get through, you still have no way of getting out safely. I don't blame him for trying, but it's just a nasty situation to be in.
This has to be run out the door. I would run out the stairs here. He's taking those levels and he's saving. That to me is the correct play. And to be honest, I hope that. What in the world? This is one heck of a play by JShydell. I'm interested to see what his strategy is here. Meanwhile, Phoenix, instead of using exit, has decided to kill Carry 1. I guess he wants to light the tile?
He has some of the tools to deal with this. Fade Nuke will take care of Carry. Carry has between 600 and 1200 HP. Nuke's gonna average, average 150 to 200 damage. Averaging closer to 200, so you should kill it in 4 nukes and 2 fades, and carry should just go down.
Yeah, and that looks to be what happens here. While JShydell going to go fight the Steak and Wings platter with that solo black belt. I don't know if it's gonna have it does not have the HP to sustain constantly getting mauled by that Tyro. Phoenix now out. He's gonna check this herb. We're gonna wake up the prince, and we're gonna talk to him, and he gives us a bottle. So for Phoenix now, all he needs at this point in time is to find that rod for him. So he's probably gonna go chase down that bottle. He wants to go see if that's where his rod's gonna be, or if he has to go all the way through Sky to find it, or if it's in an absolute worst case scenario, that rod is sitting in the Catman infested ordeals. Both Sky and Ordeals can have Catman chilling in the, well, Mirage, pardon me. Those are both dungeons I don't want to have to be doing. And Phoenix is gonna find out that that's gonna be really annoying once he gets over there.
I feel like Phoenix could just take levels whenever, though. Like, that 3i grind is just sitting there, and if you have a mid-30s black belt, you're just safe in general from most things. The worst case scenario, something nasty happens to your whole party and your black belt runs into like a large pack of people who are just annoying to kill. But a mid-30s black belt is able to take on most, enemies.
Yeah, his knowledge of that 3i grind is very, very important. While Phoenix is coming back here into ice, I wonder what his thoughts are on coming here for this. I don't see anything like that for him makes a lot of sense to be
Frost Giants.
That's a good call. Thank you very much. I'm going to assume it has to be a random encounter because it sure ain't any of the trap tiles we've seen.
Yeah, Frost Giants are available on a lot of ice, but they can be a little bit tricky to find. If you're coming here just for Frost Giants, though, you can also check near Gaia instead, or you could just rely on the Temple of Fiends Revisited Floor 2. So going into Ice Cave just to find Frost Giants, might not be the fastest play. But at the same time, if he hasn't gotten the item out of here yet, it makes sense to do 2 things at once.
I'm just going back on my handy dandy notes that our great Shanigan has been doing for us, and ice led to Oxyale. So it doesn't look like, is that what it was? Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah, so he's not something that's gonna more than likely be required, but
the Oxyale is the only item in the game that is, going to not be required because of, key items, unless you need to defeat Kraken with Brack, but I don't think anyone's going to voluntarily do that with row 2 and column 5 being so free.
Yeah, that would be a very aggressive play to try that. I think here he's given up on looking for the frost. Because are they not on the floor after you fall through the tiles here? They're the most prevalent area where the frost giants are.
Well, the vanilla game rarities have been shuffled, so any floor where they're available has a possibility of finding them, and you don't know which floor will have the highest chance of getting them. But frost giants are available on floor 2 as well as floor 3. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if this floor actually has them, though. I think it's only the bottom floors, unless I'm mistaken.
That was my initial thought, too, was that you had to be on the lower floors. This is all your undead stuff, your sorcerers, your wizards, birds are all here, I believe.
Okay, no, it looks like I'm wrong. This one counts like according to the game corner guide, which I've been using. I think this is part of the floor Ice Cave B2, quote unquote. So it's actually like the the first two long walks that don't have them, but on this floor, this counts as like the second floor essentially. So you can find the frost giants here.
Alrighty, so we're gonna see if he goes from I think honestly, either the Topher play or outside Gaia. Outside Gaia right there on the first part of the walk to Lafane makes a lot more sense to me. But with things being shuffled, sometimes it comes up really, really easily, and sometimes not so much.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
Sorry, Chanigan and I are joking around in chat, but we were just running a seed, and we spent 30 minutes each trying to find frost giants, so they're currently the bane of our existence.
Those are tiles too, where you have to kill multiples of something. If rarity of those gets shuffled to set 7 or 8, and all of a sudden you're dealing with that 1 in 64, 1 in 32, God, that can be really annoying.
Okay, JShydell did not get ambushed by the bane of his existence.
Alright, she's got Fade, which is big. He does not have a charge of nuke on. Oh, he's got a Fade and a nuke that's able to go out. Turn or Fade comes off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Oh boy, lit 3, that should do it. He's got it. It's done. He's finally done it. Oh my god, it took like 25, 30 minutes, but he's done it. I would be exiting out of this so fast, probably saying some choice words and never looking back here again.
Yeah, Phoenix diving back in. He's committed to getting frost giants and Earth. We'll have to see if this pays out for him.
Walking around, checking it out. Long walk around. But again, we thought this was one of the floors that didn't potentially have them, but what do you know? We say that, and look at this. They're here.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah, so he's got not great luck with the frost giants, but he had really good luck with the red giants. So Phoenix in pretty good shape, as that was one of the nastiest tiles. But he's still got some more RNG fests coming up. Tiamat with Bane can be a problem, although Bane at level 3 makes that so much better because you have so many additional casts. But Lich with Quake, still looming, as we have yet to find Quake.
We're gonna find it here. It's gotta be in Gaia. It's just a matter of whether it's 7 or 8. There's a level 7 shop. Nope, it is level 8, which means you're gonna want those to be up around 27, 28, I think it is, to get your third cast, because I think it's 24 and 25 are your first of level 8.
24 is, yep, your first cast.
Yeah, so you get 24, and then I believe at 25 is your second cast, because you get one level directly after, and then I think it's 28 would be your third cast, so that's probably the benchmark that he wants to get to be able to have 3 casts of Quake on each. Now, again, 25% chance, but you do not want to have to run through Earth multiple times, as we see it here, level 8 Quake. He can't even buy it yet, though. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. He has to promote. He can't even buy it yet.
Yeah, and he's actually running into some awkwardness. Saracen pointing out in chat that he has to promote, so he can't do row 2 as planned, and he did equip the Black Mage with cursed equipment. So he lost column 5, which was one of the most free columns in existence. So Phoenix gonna have to get creative now. This is one of the reasons why keeping your options open for as long as possible, especially with something like blessed equipment, is important, because right now he's gonna have to potentially do column 4 is not that bad. There's a couple he could definitely do as backups, but not ideal, especially considering just don't have to equip anything on your Black Mage, and you could have just had column 5 for free.
Yeah, I'm also looking at row 3 isn't too bad. Finding hint PCs isn't too bad. Marsh isn't too bad. So there are options, but he's also limited because you can't do column 1, you can't do row 5. That's been blocked out by Garland boxing. You can't do any of the diagonals because you have things that are blocked off from you. Can't do row 1, so he's pretty much limited at this time to row 3 and column 4.
Yes, I agree.
That's about it.
Yeah. Row 3, column 4, and that is not a position you really want to be in. Now, luckily, this is one of the kindest bingo boards. It's really pretty good for that, but you have to really be careful.
Yeah, one myth click, all of a sudden it becomes a problem, and you have so many things that go wrong for you. So it really is row 3, column 4 to go along with it for him at this point. I would cast a spell of every element in battle. I think we've seen... we've obviously seen everything at this point in time. So that's just a little bit of an annoyance of running around everywhere to get it all. But again, you need to promote. Oh wow, we give the TNT to get a Masa +3. Ooh, that will be useful. White Samurai strat's going to be coming up.
Yeah, this seed is... these bingo seeds tend to take from between under an hour to maybe an hour 15 most of the time. This one is definitely dragging on a little bit. There's some nastiness going on here, mostly related to the terrible starting magic and now, level 8 Quake. It's the one saving grace right now is just the fact that those eyes are just super free in Northwest Castle.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely essential to be doing, because once you... At this point, it's probably worth... You're going to have gotten practically all the key items. I'd personally be grinding that black belt to 42 so that I can insta-kill everything in Topher as fast as possible, because the amount of time you're probably going to spend getting those 10 extra levels, as we see Phoenix making the move right now to Northwest to start on that 3-eye grind. I think the time you save in just getting it to 42, the time you spend on that, would be... You're going to make up, I think, and then some with that 42 black belt.
Yeah, JShydell, unfortunately for him, is also doing his grind on these Sarias, which, to be fair, is not a terrible tile by any stretch, but it's just not going to compete with these eyes at all. So, he's made his decision, and it is often the correct decision to just, do your grind when you can. So, there's no... It's not wrong for what he's doing, it's just unfortunate for him, because these eyes are generally going to be better. Now, one big issue for Phoenix is this is going to be really hard for his mages to die.
Yeah, he's going to have to spend some time just standing around waiting, I think, in order for that to happen. Conversely, for JShydell, he hasn't even been able to see this grind yet. He hasn't picked up that ruby yet. He's now in the correct area. He's in ordeals. So he's in the right area. You have to think that you're here, you're walking over, you're rowing over, you're checking out Caravan Waterfall and on rack to see if that's potentially where, because he's still looking for that vendor item. But I'm sure first he's going to burn off as many encounters as possible, or as many charges as possible on all these encounters before he makes his way out.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Sarias are not a terrible grind, but just not as good as these eyes.
No, they are pretty much the ultimate grind tile at this point. Like you said, they typically roll fairly low HP. They usually don't have anything. They die quickly, and their output is pretty good. Now, granted, these ones had right there between 268 and 286 hit points, because the 268 didn't kill him, and the 286 did. So it is a little beefier on the eye side. But still, once that black belt especially hits 32, it's gonna go from 32 to 42 in 4 minutes.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not trying to keep his black mages alive a little bit more, just so he can get those quake charges. But I think he's figuring that, like, okay, the top black mage can die early, the white mage dies next, then the black mage who's right beside his black belt maybe gets up to like 28 or 29, and then he should be good.
Yeah, I think 20. I believe it's 28 is when you get that third charge of level 8. So that's gonna be. I think that's the level that I would be shooting for those black belt or for the black mages. And then once it hits that, you really don't care. Then it's all black belt all the time. And on JShydell's side, he's got everything down. He's got a 26 black belt now. He's got a solo grind. I haven't noticed the HP on those Sarias, so we'll take this first punch. Well, that's too much damage to know what their HP is. When you do 577, pretty much everything dies.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of at the point where the HP total on the Sarias just doesn't matter. It's just the fact he has to punch 4 of them to get about the same EXP as 17,000, pretty good, but you know, he's gonna have to punch 4 of them, and Phoenix only has to punch 3 of them.
Our tracker Chanigan pointing out they only had around 140 HP, so very, very squishy. So very, very good. One of my favorite tiles as well. If you can't find that 3-eye tile, this is a really good one to get XP on quick. We see Phoenix here has gone into Elfland. I guess checking spells at this point in time. Maybe getting some things together, I guess. Yeah.
He's working on his hint givers for row 3.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't remember. I remember when I used to play this way back in the vanilla days. The first few times, probably the first time or two I ever had to beat the game. You obviously talk to everybody in the universe. But since then, it's just having everything memorized. That's one of those things that has definitely left my mind as to where they are.
Well, also the hint givers, of course, are not in the vanilla game, right? Like, there's the people, but
yeah, they're not genuine. They're not genuine hidden key, but there are people who will say things like, "Oh,
yes.
The lich here is, lich in this cave is this, and the vampire is guarding a ruby or something to that effect." And I'm like, wait, what's that mean? Because this being a very old school RPG makes you think about, talking to everybody to figure it all out.
Mm-hmm.
And here we've got Phoenix's going. It looks like, yeah, he's 100% going for row 3 at this point, checking every room here on Marsh 3. Does that include having to check key locks?
Yes, it does. Okay. But he has the key, so yeah. He's okay.
Okay, I wasn't 100%. I couldn't remember if that. So that makes sense then for him. However, we do know that Geists can come up here.
Yeah, our Chakra Chanigan also pointing out he really hopes that Phoenix remembers to not use fast, or else he's going to be in quite a pickle. Oh no, wait, he can use fast at this point, because that's row 2.
Yeah, fast.
Yeah.
That row's gone with the never promote. He had to throw that away. There was nothing he could do about that. He had to throw never promote away, because you have to promote to be able to get Quake. Ghost Pirate in chat, JShydell hasn't grown yet. No, he has not, but he should be in the very, very near future. Yeah, it was all locked behind the Ruby, which he left. Oh my.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be another seed in this tournament where we're going to be an hour 20 into a seed and one of the runners won't be in the air. But that's just the nature of, like, Ice Cave was particularly nasty, and the Ruby's in kind of a, odd spot. And if you don't check it early, you can take a while to get around to go into the caravan.
Yeah, I trailed off due to finding out that he had left Goats. To finish my point, the Ruby is in caravan, and behind the Ruby is both the loot and the key in Titans and Sarda. And that key is what is required because our floater is sitting in locked Corneria. So it's right there, just right there next to JShydell. But he doesn't have the magic key to be able to check that treasure chest that he needs.
Now, luckily for him at this point, like, Waterfall's basically what's left, so you're going to be heading to the Onrak continent anyways. Because the cube, no one has found the cube yet, so... Oh, well, sorry, Phoenix has, but JShydell has not.
Yeah. So, but I was just surprised given the fact that he was already at Ordeals, that the proximity play in that situation is just going right to Onrak and Waterfall. It's right there.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but the runners sometimes, if they want to play more aggressively, they might want to turn in items they get immediately. If they want to play a little bit, more like full clear mode, then you are always proximity routing. So, yeah. But I agree. I would also be checking, especially with the shop item still out there. And here we go. He does find that ruby. He's got plenty of money.
Oh yeah, it was only 10,000, so that's nothing. But he's gonna get that, and I suspect he'll be, if he was chasing down the crystal and that right away. It wouldn't surprise me if he chases this right away. But then again, Waterfall is right there. But that Waterfall is guarded by some really nasty blue Ds. They had a lot of HP. So, his black belt is now up, so it should be able to take care of it, but still, it's not the funnest tile to deal with.
Yeah, but the last time we were here, our party was level 15 with no nuke or fade. Now we have a high level black belt, nuke, fade, all the toppings, So we should be in much better shape to take out these blue Ds and farm a few levels off them.
Yeah, especially, and again, this could be another, with him not finding that 3i grind, if they aren't horribly high on HP, could be something he takes a few fights on, burns off all his charges if they're alright, gets a few more levels, and then that would mean that whatever grind he does decide to do, if he even needs to, he could be getting close to 32 at this point. And I suspect at 32 he would push his luck and go for Topher. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Phoenix now checking out this room here, and it's the adamant, and that's gotta be Rod then, right?
Looking through the chain here, the rods could still be the robot as well.
Oh yes, that's right, because we never did get the chance to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'll find out in a second here, once JShydell takes care of these booties, nukes them down. And Phoenix is making her way right up to Tia. We're going to try Bane and us some Tia. See what happens. Well, it is the rod from the robot. So that is everything that Phoenix... Yeah, that is everything that Phoenix needs. Or pardon me, that JShydell... No, JShydell... Yeah, that is everything that JShydell needs.
Yes.
At this point in time. He just needed that rod. No, that's not true. Excuse me. JShydell still needs to pick up that floater to be able to promote at this point in time. He's still got to chase some things down. Because he needs to promote to buy Quake.
Yeah, he has to get the key and the loot anyways from the ruby. So he has all... He doesn't need to dive any more dungeons. But he will need to... Well, he'll need to dive Earth in order to kill Lich, but... He doesn't need to go do any more incentive locations. Not that there's really any left. He kind of already full cleared everything.
Yeah. And blink and you miss it. First try, Bane hits Tiamat down. You'll love to see that luck.
Mm-hmm.
So now this puts Phoenix in the position of he needs to find Tail. He needs to find Rod. And I'm thinking of what he has left to do.
Waterfall and Earth incentive are what he has to do. Now, unfortunately for him, there's a guaranteed double dip of Earth required because the tail's in Earth, and you need to get the tail out, promote, go buy Quake, and then come back into Earth with the rod. So it doesn't actually matter what order he does these dungeons in, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, that is one really gated Earth that is very, very annoying.
Yeah, for his sake, you hope that the tail is in Waterfall, because then he could promote and then the rod's guaranteed to be in Earth. But unfortunately for him, that's not the case. So he's going to be doing a lot of walking around and then sailing and then canoeing. Ugh, just nastiness.
Yeah, and that's just seems to be par for the course for everything that this seed has been throwing so far right now. Lots of very weird trolly things, like having to chase things down, and then just the overall badness of what a couple of the really early dungeons that you needed to deal with. And again, finding that ruby over in Caravan. I mean, JShydell, hasn't even gotten quite there yet. He's getting there now. And I mean, Phoenix got that at what? 25-minute mark?
Yeah, something around there. I mean, JShydell spent a long time in Ice Cave wiping.
Yeah, but he's gonna be in the air legitimately an hour later than Phoenix, but he's still right there in being able to in being able to make it into Topher with.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think that column 3 is quite a bit faster than row 4, so I think because of that, he's benefited a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just whatever you do, don't make the mistake of translating your slab.
Yes, and also don't equip a sword, although that's a lot easier to remember.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have anything that would equip a sword at this point in time anyway. You're not throwing... The only sword you would be tempted to use at any point in time is Amasa on your white mage, otherwise they're just going to be spellcasters.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, but yeah, no, Phoenix doing his best impression of a blackout board, just like with how many green boxes are checked. It's insane.
He should have just gone and killed Kraken with Brack at this point. He was right there. Should have just done it.
Oh, and unfortunately he's also going to do Ordeals, which actually ends up being a complete dud too. So, just terrible for Phoenix. The tail in the worst possible spot in Earth for him.
He wanted nothing but then to do a double dip of Earth. He was going, and I don't blame him. I think in this situation I'd do the same thing. You are 100% going to clear everything you can because you want to go down into a dungeon. Anytime you go into a dungeon, you want to be able to go from the start to the finish, everything you need to do, and it double dipping is just so time consuming and just frustrating as well.
Yeah, so JShydell did do, the smart play here, making sure he gets his key, and now that he has his key, going to go into Marsh. As we mentioned before, you do need to have the key in order to check all the rooms in Marsh, as key locks are included. So, nice heads-up play by JShydell here. Meanwhile, Phoenix continuing the search for that elusive tail, Quake not being kind in the seed.
And this is exactly why when we were saying how the randomized game itself within the randomizer and the bingo board, they do not necessarily line up in a very synergistic manner. And this is a prime example of that, forcing a level 8 Quake, forcing you to promote, killing off one of your potential lines, while simultaneously making you have to double dip a location just to do it. That's the joy and the curse of this. So JShydell going to clear out every single room here. Phoenix is going to pick up a crystal and go. I have to still run things down. I still have to look for things. It's quite the long trek going through. He's legitimately going to have full cleared every incentive to find out that it's last location for him to get that tail in Earth. He is going to turn in that crystal. That crystal is going to give him money. Yay, everything we needed at this point in the seed. Everybody needs $1,100. We already don't have hundreds of thousands. Here's an extra 1,100. JShydell clears out everything here on March 3. And Phoenix is probably hung his head in shame a little bit, going, I really have to do it this way, don't I?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely worst case scenario for him, so not going to be a happy camper. I'm assuming we're going to get some fairly unhappy post-game interviews regardless of who wins this race.
Yeah, this has been one that has forced your hand, but on the plus side, for anyone who doesn't know, in this bingo, you see the other person's card. Like, everybody sees the card. So you know what your opponent's done, you know what your opponent hasn't done. So you're sitting here at the hour 30 mark, and you're both a couple of tiles away from being done and going in go mode. And you're looking at it going, well, at least I'm not the only one who's getting my butt kicked in this situation.
Yeah, when Phoenix lights up Defeat Lich with Quake in still another 5 minutes, that's definitely going to make JShydell, get nervous. But until that happens, it's going to feel like it could be anyone's race.
Yeah, and it's all also dependent on how quickly JShydell finds out where Quake is at 8 in Gaia, which should be, to be honest, a relatively quick and obvious check. He has to do the feint without the slab, which puts him 5 tiles away from flying up to Gaia. So it wouldn't surprise me if he goes straight south here, checks Gaia, and then does but he's making a very, very smart play and going to promote, because he knows he needs to be promoted to get that Quake. Oh, this is really, really smart.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5 out of 6 he needs to be promoted, but it's definitely the right play to go promote first. And hey, we're gonna have them give a high five in Bahamut.
Map check, everyone. If you're playing the Final Fantasy Randomizer home drinking game of whatever beverage you choose, that's a drink.
Yep, next to you, stay hydrated. And we're out. Now, JShydell did promote slightly later than Phoenix did in terms of the level of his black belt, and that is going to provide some additional MDef for him, as neither runner has found a ribbon, nor is there even guaranteed to be a ribbon in this seed because of the random gear. So that could be something to pay attention to. One of the ways that these runners die in Temple of Fiends Revisited is by their, black belt getting zapped, for example.
Yeah, the black belt's MDef is their strongest attribute, and their MDef growth is significantly better as a black belt versus that of a master. As at the hour and 32-minute mark, we are finally able to buy cake.
Yeah, and keep in mind, JShydell just got in the air, and he's done his grind and going to be done his bingo board. Like,
this is literally, they will both be walking down into Earth almost simultaneously, because all he has to do here is run, say Lupa, which he's going to do in 2 seconds. He's going to reset. Boom. There it is. He's Lupa. Here we go. Sprint over to Earth right now. They're both going to be lighting up that Defeat Lich with cake, I suspect, within 30 seconds of each other, and then it will be the mad dash through Topher.
Yeah. But JShydell going into ice again? What's he looking for?
I'm not. Is he not comfortable? He mustn't be comfortable with. he doesn't have the casts on his black mages yet.
Ah, so he's going for the Iron Gall tile. That makes sense.
Yeah.
He does not know about this free eye grind. Meanwhile, Phoenix, straight to the eyes.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's, the black belt might be online, the black belt might be ready, but you're still gonna need 28 or 20. Yeah, I think it's 28, where you get that third charge. I mean, you could go at 25 and have your 2, but that's 4 casts. It is a 25% chance statistically you should hit, but sometimes it don't work like that.
Earth is also just an incredibly slow dungeon to go through that you don't really want to be like walking down twice.
Yeah, it's worth it to ensure that you have 3 charges, that you have the 3 charges of it. So I think that was 28 on Phoenix's black mages, and I think it's still only 2, so it must be 29 then. That is the magic number to get 3, because you do not want to have to walk through twice, because you get just horrible luck and you don't cake Lich.
Yeah, also his black belt still needs some levels, so not the worst thing.
No, his black belt is not nearly as beefy yet, but I mean, at this point, I don't think either one is pushing to 42. So once you hit 32, it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. JShydell picks up the power bonk for what seems like the third time, the fourth time.
At least. He made a point to go in here and grab that every single time he was running through doing this. And just every time he got to the end and was like, alright, this time, the Catmen are mine, and did not happen. So Phoenix now in, he's going. He's got, I believe, his 3 charges, 29 across the board. For his mages, he's making the mad dash down. Interesting thing to point out here, though, those black mages, pardon me, are very much below 400 HP.
Mm-hmm.
There are Geists with nuke.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we do have life 2 on that white mage, but this could become annoying where with one bad pack, it doesn't matter turn order, 2 of those go off. Could this be another Catman repeat?
Yeah, nothing's been particularly kind to our runners in this particular seed, so nothing is for certain. Even the normally safe dive down Earth at level 28 across your entire party.
Yeah, I mean, and just the way things have been going, it would be horribly unfortunate, but yet at the same time, it's so not surprising. Just as you said, with how this seed is played out with some of the enemies and what's gone on, it has been absolutely trolly to the max in so many ways.
So if you've just joined us in the last little bit, my name's Jat. I'm joined here in the booth by Ilmars, and you are watching the Final Fantasy Randomizer Winter Double Anti-Bingo Tournament, where they start with all the orbs lit, but they need to find the key, the loot, to finish one row on the bingo board assigned by their opponents, which is denoted by the colored chips. So here you can see that Phoenix requires row 4, and JShydell requires column 3, as the colors are next to their names. And finish another row of their choosing, in which case Phoenix has chosen row 3, during the seed, he got to choose that, and JShydell has chosen column 5. So both runners 1 tile away, but that tile has been particularly tricky to get, as it's involved killing Lich with Quake, which was level 8, required promotion, and a black mage of minimum level 24, but in order to have reasonable statistical chance of getting it, up as high as level 29. So a particularly nasty final tile, but both runners now getting exceptionally close to it. One of the big difference makers, JShydell in the air extremely late. Meanwhile, Phoenix in the air quite early, but struggled mightily to find that tail, and basically had to do all the incentive dungeons that JShydell had done while he was on, in his ship. So ending up with a very, very even race between the two runners. At this point, whose Quake will land first is the big question.
And here we go. Quake 1 off, no dice. Quake 2, nope. So you're like, okay, that's all right. I feel okay with it. Quake 3 goes off. No, now you're getting nervous. Half my Quakes are gone. He's still alive. What's happening here? Quake 4 goes off. Oh, Jesus. It hasn't gone yet. Why is he still alive? This is my last chance. I will have to run through everything again. If this doesn't hit, it missed. Oh my goodness. It missed. What am I going to do? This is my last Quake. I have to go through. It hits.
So, big play by JShydell. He's going to try and Quake Lich 2, which is which is completely legal. There's a slightly lower chance. Lich 2 has 10 higher MDef than Lich 1. It's either 10 or 20. I don't know what the rate. It's 10% higher. So there's a lower chance, but he's also going to be through Topher. Doesn't have to dive all the way through Earth Cave if this is successful. So a nice play by JShydell. This could make the difference.
I was just going to say the same thing as you, that while all this time worrying about who was going to get through Earth and get Lich 1 down, JShydell just says, I'm swinging. I have like 2 or 3 casts of it. I am going to pray that this hits Lich 2 and I get it all done.
Yeah. If this doesn't hit, going through Topher also takes a bunch of time, but might not be the end of the world. And Phoenix is going for a grind. He's trying to lower his party members' HP so his black belt can get higher, but this is time I don't think he can afford to take.
I would think he's 29. I think it would have made more sense to honestly, if you were going to take a grind, 32 is your break point here. Even if you ground your whole party to 31, you're going to pick up 32 passively going through Topher. And once you hit 32, if you're going, you're going. Now, if he's taking this all the way up to 42, that's one thing, but you're really banking on there being a gatekeeper boss, because if Topher is weak, JShydell's going to walk right through it.
Now, I want to point out something. Lich 2 is more dangerous in another way too, which is that he's part of the Fiend refight pool, which means you could be trying to Quake him, and he could be nuking you, versus Lich 1 really isn't going to be a threat. You have as much time as you want, right? So that is something to really keep in mind. Ice 2, though, not the worst. Oh, but if his Black Mages go down, remember, that's also a reset.
Yeah, and that hit hard. That was 150 on one of the Black Mages. This is scary. Quakes are gonna have to go off, gonna have to get it. Fire 3 comes out. Low rolls, thankfully. Quake's going off, hasn't hit yet. Quake the 4th, not there. Uh-oh, how many Quakes we got left? This has gotta be his last round of it, is it not?
Oh, he gets it.
Quite a few.
Wow, wow, that's incredibly good. That's huge.
That is such a make or break move by JShydell. That is something that when you are playing any randomizer or anything at a really high level, sometimes you really have to put it on the line and make those big gambles, and this paid off big for JShydell. Because even at the very least, if he wipes in Topher to anything, he doesn't have to worry about doing that again. At least he knows he can just go through punch, and just, all out black belt aggression and not have to worry about anything like that slowing him down. Although these Agama Giants are doing everything they can to slow him down. So we pull carry 2, here we go. Punch, heal 3, nuke. Heal 3 goes off first. It's gonna buff everybody's HP back up to full. Nuke comes off. We've got 124. Nuke comes off. We've got 308. Great Daddy. Here comes Zappa. Oh boy. That is bad. Our white mage is down. On top of that, Kiri has over 800 HP. She's a little beefy. Punch comes out. 677 down, but Our life support is gone. This is all punch and pray at this point. We have no backups, and what's even worse has happened, an unrunnable water tile which can do very annoying things to pull people down. It wouldn't surprise me if unfortunately this black mage goes down because they hit hard.
Yeah, this is not ideal by any stretch, but he will get a few levels here. If his black mage can stay alive, being able to cast fast is huge. If you get turn order fast punch against almost any fiend, you're going to one-shot them, and that's absolutely massive. Good adjustment here as well to move that opal, opal bracelet onto that black mage. That's going to increase his defense by quite a bit.
Yeah, he had nothing but, I think it was like gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden getting the best mage armor that's also +4. Yeah. That's just a slight boost to his absorb.
I mean, that black mage basically equipped like a lot of endgame fighters in the vanilla game in terms of absorb.
All with one simple thing. And yet again, the horrible encounters coming, just slowing JShydell down, while Phoenix is now into Topher. He's not too far behind. Boy, this is gonna be this is all really gonna come down to is he going to wipe it out? Kraken pull, swirl comes off, punch goes out, 374, walk 2, 7 out of the 8 hits hit, so it's not a crazy evasive Kraken, that's for sure. Nuke goes off 134. Kraken responds nuclear 121. That black mage is on his knees, takes a big hearty punches 723, but is still standing. It's over 1,000 damage now done to this Kraken, still alive. Another nuke goes out 166. Final punch, I suspect 854. Down goes Kraken 2, and I think more importantly, black mage still standing.
Yeah, he got not lucky, but he got on a very nice nuclear roll there to make sure that his black mage could stay up, along with the levels that he's gotten. But like that black mage easily could have died to that nuclear.
Oh yeah, here we go. Tier 2. Walk 2. Nuclear comes first thing. Punch 765. No absorb on this Tia. It's not going to be long for this world. I don't think this next punch might be enough to do it. Tia punches back at the black belt. That's kind of what you need to see right here. Some chip damage essentially. As wow, this Tia has quite a good HP pool. Still throwing out some real chip damage with 50 from Lit 3. Punch comes out again, 583. Down goes Tia 2. This is probably the most harrowing part of the run, walking from here to those final stairs, because there are some really bad big mobs, particularly the Vampire Wiz Vampire pack, that can do some serious damage to you on these final steps.
Yeah, the Twilight fan club is terrifying with like a solo black belt or near solo black belt. But here we go. On to Chaos for JShydell.
Range moving that black mage up. I don't think he has fast on this black wizard, because I haven't seen it in his inventory. So
no, I don't think he picked it up, which I guess he wanted to make sure he wasn't using that tile, but he didn't need it, and it was level 4, so
yeah, lock 2 goes out. We got a pretty decent hit at 467. Thinking about what to do, throwing out more lock. I mean, at this point you may as well just throw out the lock. At this point, just drop the evade as much as possible, and nothing else that black mage is going to do. Another hit 304, but Chaos punches back hard. It was 340 onto the black belt. That's bad news. That black belt is getting close. Big hit for 438. Oh boy, this is super dangerous. Any non-elemental skill, nuclear, nuke, swirl, tornado, this can kill this black belt. Low roll on the damage punch. This is bad news. There goes that black belt, black mage, and Chaos. Chaos punching like a champion shows that he is not to be trifled with right now. Oh boy, all of a sudden Phoenix now on the water floor in the lead.
Not having fast absolutely making the difference in that fight. That black belt with fast kills Chaos 2 turns earlier.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate. A lot of knowledge gained by JShydell on what everything does here, but Now you have to make that long walk again all the way through to get there, while Phoenix now in the lead, just about to pull Kraken 2.
Ooh, I don't love going on to Kraken 2 with the black belt in the first slot. The loss condition of Phoenix's run right now is that black belt gets punched down turn 1. This could be nasty here. Saracen also correctly pointing out in chat, carry Zap was brutal, but no ribbons. It's not uncommon for Zap to be able to take down the white mage with that Zap.
Yeah, this is all about what Kraken does to punch. We've got Temper, we've got Fast going out, we've got Invis going out. Lightning 2, that's a great thing to see. Temper Fast, black belt on this next turn. He gets turn order. Kraken should go down. Big punch, 1854, showing Kraken some of his own medicine through. Here we go, walking over. Gonna pull out Tia 2 up JShydell back in for the second time, now about to go on to Lich 2. This time he knows I don't have to quake it, I can punch it in the face. And the absolute troll encounter the step before pulling Yamat 2. These errors are like, no, we're gonna dance here first. Here we go. Tiamat 2 comes. Looks like we're gonna go fast and we're gonna go Temper. That was a great pickup as well, picking up Temper, because that will speed things up at level 8. 7 hits, 650. Fast and Temper, of course, because turn order comes after the fact. Down goes one of the black mages, not the worst thing in the world. Second punch, 1866 Tiamat. There is what we were talking about. Vanilla crit rate, plus a fast 18 hit, or 16 hits on a black belt. That's going to do serious damage.
Good run there from Phoenix. He was out of life casts. If that Vamp Twilight Party or Twilight Fan Club had hit any of his characters, that could have been really nasty. So, that was a little bit scary.
Leaving the black belt in the top slot, he must feel that JShydell is right here. He doesn't even take time to rearrange his party. Punch comes out 195. We know Chaos hits pretty hard. We're going to have to get these buffs off. Fast goes out. Temper goes out. Punch comes off. What are we doing this time? 673, not the biggest punch we've ever seen come out. We're going to need some more tempers. Everybody's throwing tempers now. Punch comes out first, of course, before the Temper's 1386. That's some big damage. We're now at vanilla HP down, 2000 down on Chaos. Chaos comes back. Weak punch on the white mage, something you would love to see at this point. We're just going to throw out damage, fade, nuke, going along with the punch. I think once this punch comes out, it's going to be big, bad news for Chaos. Fade, chip damage at 98. The punch, 2150. Ladies and gentlemen, get your GGs out for Phoenix, making an incredible comeback at the very end on a race that was absolutely back and forth. Wow, what a finish.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, there was a lot of winding paths, I guess, to Temple of Fiends Revisited, but at the end of the day, it came down to a zap and a lack of fast, and that was kind of the story of the end of this race. Just incredibly close between these two equally matched runners.
Putting the request out here, see if Phoenix wants to join us here in the booth, and it seems like he'll be interested in doing a quick one here. We won't take too much of his time as it is getting late. Meanwhile, while waiting on that, JShydell looking to finish out his match now. Second time into Topher, here we go. We've got Kraken 2 now. Got nukes like 3s, fades, punches, 82. Down goes Kraken 2, of course, getting trolled by fights after the fact, because that's what happens. These waters holding things up. Luke's going out trying to take care of them. He'll clear this with the next sweeper. And there we go. And it sounds like we have now been joined here by Phoenix. Phoenix, are you there, friend?
Hey, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Phoenix. Jeez, my friend. I guess the best word to describe what happened here is wow.
Yeah, that was an exercise in changing plans on the fly. I kind of had a fear that Quake was going to be a high-level spell, and well, sure enough, there she was, level 8.
Mm-hmm. Do you, like, was the plan to do row 2? Is that why you, like, for example, equipped the cursed weapon? Because, like, it looked like column 5 was just, like, super free for, like, your party and things.
I was actually planning on doing row 2. I was just gonna skip fast, and then I saw Quake at level 8, and well, yeah, that didn't exactly work out the way she planned.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we saw the row 2, but then like once we calculated, oh, promotion's gonna be necessary. You were down to like I think 2 viable backups.
Yeah, there was not much left. I was sweating. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was down to row 3 or column 4. Everything else was already removed from the table, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I wasn't even counting column 4 for the spells, so I would have had to have started on scratch on that one, and yeah, whew, that could have gotten ugly there.
So here we go. JShydell on to Chaos. This is his second time. Now, one of the big deciding factors in this race was that JShydell got a really nasty zap from Carrie.
Oh.
Neither runner had a ribbon, which meant that, oh goodness. Okay, so neither runner had a ribbon, and his white mage got zapped by a carry, so that was bad. But now he also didn't pick up fast, which was a critical issue he ran into the first time on Chaos, and now getting... I don't know if his black belt got hit by slow 2. No, he didn't, but Chaos coming out with slow 2, and luckily his black belt doesn't get hit by it, because that would have been an absolute disaster.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was really hoping to find at least one ribbon. I was sweating the whole time, and thankfully I got a good rotation on Carrie and spanked her pretty fast, and I got pretty lucky on all of them, because I realized halfway through that I hadn't re-topped up my heal potions, so I was really hoping I wasn't gonna have to heal a lot, and I got some really lucky rotations, and sometimes she works out.
Yeah, one thing that was really scary for me actually was when you hit the Whiz-Vamp Vamp pack, and you had just used your last cast of Life 2. That could have been not good if you had not
there
got
was a whole lot of oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god going through my head when that one popped up. And I mean, like, it's like 10 steps from Tia to the staircase, and sure enough.
So JShydell is getting through this Chaos. His black belt's staying at a fairly healthy HP, and, you know, even without fast, still doing really solid damage. Keep in mind this Chaos has between 2,000 and 4,000 HP, so JShydell can't be much more than a punch or 2 away at this point.
No, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was with my grind, I saw him pop that Lich with Quake, and I grinded a little less than I'd planned, and
well, he actually Quaked Lich in Temple of Fiends Revisited, which was definitely a nice heads-up play by him.
Oof, good call. Yeah, that with the having to promote with having to double dip Earth was not not ideal.
Yeah. And we will see JShydell finishing with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour 56 minutes and 42 seconds, so 5 minutes apart, but really, he was on Chaos when you were on Lich the first time, so this was like an incredibly close race between the two of you. And we are joined in the booth here by JShydell. GG's, Jay.
Hey.
That Chaos run that first time for you, Jay. Oh, what a heartbreaker for you. That carry throwing that zap. Oh.
I don't know how close he was, but it felt like it should have been another punch or 2.
Yeah, it was definitely another punch or 2. So, I think in many ways... Oh, another fun fact for you guys. JShydell was in the air an hour after Phoenix.
Yeah. Stupid.
But what ended up happening is that all those incentive locations you cleared, Phoenix ended up checking anyways, because he dead last location the tail in Earth.
Aha.
So that's where the time kind of got caught up. Also, your decision to Quake Lich 2 instead of Lich 1 very well could have won you that race. So very, very close.
I saw it there, knew that it would take me just as long to get down to Lich 2 or Lich 1 as it would to try Lich 2 like twice, so...
The risk with Lich 2 is that if it has Nuke or Nuclear, you can be in a little bit of trouble, because the Black Mage is getting taken out turn 1 is just like, well, even if I can kill you, I'm resetting. But I think it was definitely a good play.
Does anyone want to talk about Ice Cave?
Phoenix doesn't mind Ice Cave. JShydell maybe has some words about it.
Just no. Oh.
Now, JShydell, did you know where fast was?
I was keeping that as an option, and so I didn't write down where fast was or even think about it again. And then after I promoted, I went, I should find that. No, I just got to go to Temple of Fiend.
Yeah, it was level 4, and I think that made the difference for your Temple of Fiends Revisited dive. Now, the zap was horrible luck, but I think with fast you were getting through.
Yeah, and that was the... I knew by that time I had seen both bingos. I knew that I was ridiculously late in the air. So it's like, okay, I just got to go.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you at all. It was just a little bit unfortunate. I think, you know, picking it up when you see it, but having the discipline not to use it is a lot of mental tax, but it might have been the one that, you know, that might have been the edge that won you the seed alongside with your really, really heads-up play to do Lich, too.
Yeah.
It is getting a little bit late here, so I think we'll get into final thoughts unless you guys have anything else you want to add about the seed before we go to that.
No.
No, nothing here.
Ilmars, do you have any questions for the runners before we get into final thoughts?
No, I think they're both done with this for tonight, and I don't blame them one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if we're going to see another bingo seed with the hour-and-a-half full clear in the air. That was a rough start with that ice cave, but, you know, as you said, one punch probably, maybe just turn order away from winning this race. So we'll pass it over to you, JShydell. Any kind of final thoughts? How's Dab been treating you?
Oh, I've actually been absolutely loving it. This has been the longest. Not getting into air for an hour probably was the most annoying, but I think it was right there if I would have just gone down to grab that ruby and stuff, so whatever.
That's how it goes sometimes.
Yep.
Anything else for final thoughts, JShydell?
Nah, just having fun. Gonna do this again next week.
Cool. Phoenix, over to you.
No, nothing much. GGJ, that was a heck of a close run, and you know I get to go on baby duty now for a few hours, so good fun times.
Choice of being parents, mine's still sleeping. Yes.
Ilmars, any final thoughts before I wrap us up?
I don't think so. Just GG, thank you both for one heck of an entertaining race. Again, if you have the opportunity to watch this VOD back, ignore the horrible technical errors that were going on in the first 20 minutes. It wasn't our fault. And then you will see that this went back and forth. And JShydell, you not having that for the floater for legitimately an hour, like not being in the air for an hour longer than Phoenix was, your ability to keep pace was incredible. So
also not finding the 3 tile in Northwest Castle because you got the key so late. So yeah. And with that, we will wrap things up. So I want to once again thank RPG Limit Break for having us. We hope to be here a bunch more times, bringing you more double anti-bingo action. If you're looking forward to it, subscribe, leave a like, leave a follow, and you'll get tuned in whenever we go live here again. I want to thank Shanigan, our tracker for tonight, who did a great job lighting up the various trackers. I want to thank Darkloon for restreaming tonight, as well as for stepping in as guest comms. And I want to thank my co-comms, Ilmars, for hanging out with me in the booth for this very exciting race. I hope you all enjoyed it. I appreciate your patience on the technical issues, and I hope to see you again soon for the next double anti-bingo race, which are coming up every day, really, for the next few weeks. So thanks again. My name's Jat. This has been a great night, and I hope everyone has a fantastic evening. Good night, everyone.